X is the latest Ty West horror movie. This is also an A24 horror movie. It stars people like Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Kid Cudi was in this movie. But this is something I'd been excited for a little bit. Just the premise, it was pretty interesting, and I'm always going to be intrigued when I hear the tag A24 to really any movie. Even if I'm not like an A24 fanboy, I still find most of their movies interesting. Even the bad ones, I still kind of find interesting. So yeah, I was pretty excited for this movie, and I like Ty West's movies. I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite horror filmmakers, but I still would say I enjoy almost all of his movies. So I'm just gonna do some quick thoughts on X, just because I don't have too much to say about it, although all of them are positive. So I really genuinely liked X a ton. I guess you could say I loved this movie. I thought it was really great. The direction and cinematography was phenomenal. I thought Ty West really had a clear vision for X, really had a specific kind of tone he wanted to hit, had a specific time period in mind, obviously, had specific just visions for how he wanted the movie to feel and how it wanted to come across. And I think he did that really effectively. A lot of great atmosphere in this movie. It was tense as hell. So many moments where I was completely on the edge of my seat. And so many great shots in this film. I guess that's kind of what you would expect from a A24 horror movie to be. A lot of creative shots, a lot of more not linear cinematography, not basic cinematography. And you get that here, but it's all really creative, and it's all really done in a way that is super stylish, and that really fits the tone of the movie really well. I thought all the performances were really good, especially Mia Goth. I thought she was phenomenal in this movie. Jenna Ortega, she's not really in this movie a ton, but what she is in, she's pretty good. Kid Cudi was pretty decent in this movie. Everyone gave a solid performance. I think they worked really well as a cast, more so than just one performance. Except for Mia Goth, I thought she really did a phenomenal job in X. And again, it was super tenseful. This movie really had me just get me guessing all the way through the entire movie. I really loved how much the narrative it's kind of flipped on its head, kind of over and over and over again. You really are kept guessing what the hell is actually going on in this movie throughout the entire runtime. I enjoy horror movies like that. I think this movie did it effectively in a way where it was unsettling and uncomfortable, or in a pretty good way. It wasn't where it was kind of convoluted and confusing, or kind of had its head up its own ass. It was just more done in a way where it kept the audience guessing and kept especially me as a viewer kind of just going, what's happening now? Is that really going to happen? Oh no! And the gore in this movie is phenomenal. I thought it was fantastic. I really did dig how much Ty West went for it in this movie in terms of the scares and the kills. Really, really good stuff here. A lot of good practical effects that you can clearly see throughout the movie. And in terms of negatives, I only have a few. There were moments in this movie, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm not going to talk about the premise just because, I don't know, I like to keep it pretty clean on this channel. But I don't really get into what the premise is, but it is a creative one. I did like it. And but it gets a little too uncomfortable at times. It gets to moments where it's just, oh, why? There was one moment, especially in this movie, that just, and like I know that was necessary. I know they were trying to drive the point home of kind of as you get older, and like your body becomes disheveled, kind of having almost no self-worth at that point, and having no like, I don't know, passion left for yourself or other people in terms of image. But there's one scene in this movie that is very, very uncomfortable and gross. And I don't know if I loved it or not. I don't know if it was all that necessary. It made me icked out. A lot of this movie made me feel icked out a little too much. And again, that just kind of comes with the premise of the film. But there was moments where I was just like, no, we didn't need that. We just didn't need that. But I'm not going to say it was gratuitous or anything like that. I just think it could have dialed it back a little bit, but that's more of a nitpick than anything. That's not really a problem with a movie. That's just kind of an observation more so. And my main issue with the movie is its pacing is not that great. One, I didn't love any of the characters, any of the main cast. I thought they were all kind of stock and uninteresting, but I feel like that kind of works for the tone of this movie, kind of being a grimier slasher from the the late 70s to the early 80s. The biggest comparison this movie's getting is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I can totally see. It very much is in that vein, and that's why I loved it so much. It's that intertwined with newer elevated horror that is definitely more psychological, definitely more kind of I don't know, like thought-provoking, I guess you could say. And that mixture, I think, is what makes this film so special and what makes this movie so like work on so many levels, is its ability to blend those genres really well and tell a poignant, thought-provoking story while also being this blood and guts, really grimy, gratuitous slasher. And it really, I think, like the pieces all very fit well together with this movie, not only narratively but tonally and like from a director's standpoint. It all just really fits together very nicely. But to the contrary of that, I didn't love the pacing sometimes. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a huge flaw, but it does get in the way. The first act-ish is a little slow. And there are just moments here that, I don't know, I feel are a little too underdeveloped, a little too by the bones, or bare bone, not by the bones, by the books, is what I was trying to say. I meant to say bare bones. So there are moments that are just a little too bare bones in this film, and it can be a little distracting because a lot of it is so hyper stylized and so specific in what it's trying to say and what message it's trying to get across that it's just like, wow, a lot of effort was put in this. This is really well written. This is all tightly edited together. And there are moments that just kind of feel messy, just kind of feel too improvised or too kind of off the cuff. And that can be distracting. And that's my biggest issue, other than the characters being really unremarkable. My biggest issue with this movie is there are moments that felt a little too shoehorned, a little too messy, and when the rest of the movie felt so airtight. So, yeah, but other than that, I really genuinely loved X. I think it is the kind of horror movie that I really like, that blends together elevated horror and just entertaining, turn-off-your-brain slasher. And it blends those two genres really well together. I'd really love to see more horror movies do this today, because I feel like it would bridge the gap between A24 fans and fans of classic horror. So I really genuinely did love X. I'm going to give it a light A-, teetering on a strong B+. It's going to depend on my mood, but I genuinely really loved this movie. Other than the few little nitpicks I have with it, I genuinely really liked X. I'm going to give it a light A-. So yeah, that is my unscripted. Did that completely, no notes, no nothing. Just stream consciousness. I think I did pretty good for X. So I was going to see Morbius on Friday, but I really have no interest in seeing that movie. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't want to see it. And next Friday, April 8th, the other A24 movie that I'm really excited for is coming out. I think it's Everything, Everywhere Now, or something like that. That movie looks absolutely batshit insane. I'm so excited for it. So yeah, I will definitely be reviewing that movie, and obviously some more streaming movies that'll come out. And I'm going to try to get a 1-minute review done of Death on the Nile soon. And my top 10 favorite movies of 2021 is coming. Me and Cam are going to be doing that video together very, very shortly. So look out for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like these videos, and I will see you guys later.